right, welcome everybody to the stream. Of course, a wild 24 hours here in stock market commodities land. I mean, is it exciting again, guys? Is this what we've been waiting for? Buying the dip? Is it the day to do so? Well, there'll be a lot of discussion throughout today's video. As always, we'll be covering the commodities, the stock markets around the world, and of course, we'll be also doing a little bit of crypto action. Let's get straight into it. We'll move on over here and we'll get started by just quickly talking about the total premiums, calls versus puts yesterday. You'll notice straight away there was quite a few people loving the old Tesla. And I think there was a few reasons why this did occur. I'll just bring up my quick button here. Let's zoom this down for me. There we go, guys. Should be a bit better now. So, yeah, there was quite a few reasons why I think this occurred. Tesla had a huge net glut of puts on it at around 700. Now, of course, the Neo FUD, we could call it, and then turns into Tesla bullishness. And all of a sudden, that whole massive amount of puts turns into calls. Look at this. Look at the strike calls now for Tesla. You've got 14.66 million expiring 20th at 700. You've got 690, 13.71 million. You've got 4.41, 11, and 11.49. A lot of negative kind of puts still out later on, which I expect to kind of form a base. And I think this is probably the story. We might see some volatility here for a little while. Maybe we get a few days. Maybe we get 2 weeks. Maybe we get an extreme sell-off to this event. And then we'll have that, big, I would think some kind of rally. Now, I always have optimism. Obviously, I've been talking about this negativity coming for the last month. If we actually go over, let's actually go over the charts because a few people, by the way, look at that iron ore, wowzers. A few people have been kind of going, oh, Tom, you've been talking about this for a month. Yeah, but I mean, nothing's happened for a month. When you think about it, what happened on the Nasdaq in the last month? If you're talking about the broader markets, we do expect that their weakness was going to occur, and we also expected sideways action. It's happened. That's exactly what has occurred. Sideways action. Sideways action. So let's just quickly take the percentage from the top to the bottom of what has been seen so far. It's about 3%. This dip is the traditional dip. This is the traditional buy the dip kind of level. 50 exponential moving average. That's where it was last time. That's where it was over here before the further sell-off. This is the zone that you generally expect Wall Street, you generally expect the retail traders to pick up. Now, I think this is key because if we close underneath this level, where's the next level? Well, the next level's around this last previous support. Then the next level after that is 14,000. I don't expect this market underneath 14,000. Now, things can change, but I don't expect it under this because I think there will be quite a lot of rallies here. From top to bottom to 14,000, you're talking about a 7.47% kind of sell-off. That's actually a considerable sell-off, and that's the one that would be healthy for the market. We've had some dips. We've had some returns. We need another dip. We need some returns. That's the type of thing that I'm looking for. 50 exponential happened way quicker than we expected, though. Look at this. Close occurs, and then bang, straight in. In fact, if we actually go over to the QQQ, look here, you'll notice where the close was and where the futures were just a few minutes ago. Literally a couple of hours ago, they were sitting right on this level. So what do you guys think? Is this the lowest that the market will go? Will it therefore just start to play up? I kind of feel like there'll be some shenanigans today. The tell is going to be in the close, and the close will be the key. If we go over to this chart here, notice the sell-off into the end of the day. That means Wall Street are in there. I expect retail to try to buy the dip in the morning. It might rally a little bit, pull back throughout the day, and then the close will be the teller of what Wall Street really want to do with it. What do you guys think, though? Let me know right now in the comments. Let's see. Mr. Murray says gap fill. Kunal says this is just the start. And then Scott Morgan says this is the beginning of a 7.2% pullback. All right, it's interesting to see what you guys think. Interesting chart I saw today. Every time the S&P gains 90 to 100%, there is a correction. Okay, I'm not. That seems like a really weird stat, to be honest. I mean, every time it hits I mean, that's not very often that it goes 90 to 100%. I mean, that can take years. So there's going to be a correction along that time. I'm not sure about that stat. RS says all in Barber today. Oh my God. Fair enough. If you like the Barber. Yes. And then Marvin the Martian says, I agree. I think retail will buy the morning and Wall Street will sell the Arvo. Selling the Arvo will be the key. Futures traders probably should have been taking some profits off at the 50 and then waiting for further information. That's generally the way I kind of look at it. 50 exponential's been strong in the past. Therefore, this is a level that you've got to pay attention to, just like you'd pay attention to the 20 usually. 50 becomes the next one. After that, though, you've only got this 352 where there's a lot of puts sitting for expiration, and then the last point of really is 342. Underneath that, God, it's going to be really brutal. Underneath that, it'd be free flow. You could move all the way down to much lower. I haven't really considered that kind of concept yet. I will deal with that if it happens, and I'll deal with that talking to you guys if it occurs. This is my thought process. 50 exponential, next level, underneath this, flow through. And let's just use oil as an example of why it's important to have these types of levels. Let's go over to US oil. Anyone that was watching the video today, you would know that I was pretty negative on US oil. That trade is definitely playing out very nicely here. So US oil had several key zones. We've seen it rally a few times now. We've seen it, of course, weaken a few times. Chat, you would know, when did I say oil sucked? When did I hate oil? It may not have been the absolute tippity top, but I'll definitely go down in the ledger books of saying 75 to 76. I was disinterested in oil. Did we say it as a community, guys? Were we big brain? Did we say that? I think we did. I think we did. We certainly will be looking at copper in just a few moments. Don't worry. Oil leads into copper. There's plenty of reasons and things that we're going to be taking a look at. RS says Tesla AI day. Yeah, seasonals on Tesla kind of point towards November being the key month for it. It's actually there's actually seasonality behind a bit of Tesla's runs. I can actually pull the seasonality up for you. Let's have a look here. One sec. Yeah, here's the months of return for Tesla fan people. This is taken from our private community. Obviously, if you're a member of the private community, you can get access to this robot. So you'll see here the months of good returns and bad returns. Go back over and have a look at June, have a look at January, have a look at November and Tesla. These tend to be very positive months. And yeah, I kind of feel like that would be awesome if we saw a bit of sideways, even though it's been sideways for a while. If we did end up seeing it go strong into November, wowzers, I'll be paying a lot of attention to the price action positive in November. It's pretty decent stat. Also, look at the wall here that was in Apple options. These are all the open interest strikes. And you can see here again, 150, 155. Look at that wall, guys. That's a serious wall of buyers. The amount of retail that Wall Street trapped. Look, I'll just zoom in here for you a little bit. Look at this. Holy moly. That is a serious wall. I think it might be a little while since Apple can go through there if there's that many options that are still open. So we'll continue to look at that one. That is just way too much. Way too much. Thank you very much for the likes as well coming through from the community. So look, US oil broke below. Next stop, probably around 61.81. It's still got more in it. Obviously, it's pulling back through the session so far. And then we have a movement potentially also down to something like the $60 flat and the daily 200. So I think oil is looking weak here. There's further weakness that can come through. Jimsy Calra says, oil, you said it. Yeah, oil has been one of the easier trades of the last year. Let's have a look at copper. So if you ever need to know, copper is one of those things that people look at for economic health. Again, every single material that I can think of, except for maybe the gold and the silver, the other materials, they are all getting plowed. And when that happens, it's always a signal that things are looking weaker in the markets. We've discussed this for a while. First, you see the weakness in the small caps. We saw that, about a month ago. Next, you see a weakness in materials. This copper has been showing weakness for a little while. In fact, it's been showing weakness since July, close of July. Now we've closed below a pretty significant level, or we may close below it today. Look at this daily, underneath the 4.11. Copper can be seen as economic health and a big driver towards the growth in the markets. I guess you've pretty much gone so far down so quickly, you've almost hit the next support. But there's not much holding copper up after that. You go to 3.7. Would I trade copper? No. Do I look at this chart and say, is this a negative sentiment tool? Yes, it is a negative sentiment tool, and it packs into our analysis that's going to go through today's session. So far, we've got US 100 on, of course, the 50 exponential, at least in the futures. We kind of expect retail to buy the dip. If I was doing analysis today, one of the things I would also do is go and find out what Wall Street Bets is doing. Now, not to pick on people on Wall Street Bets, but the thing is, and it's totally nothing against it, it's just a good sentiment of retail traders. If everyone is trying to buy the dip this morning, it probably will rally initially, and then Wall Street will come in at the end and try to sell it off. It's that phenomenon of 2 steps down, 1 step back, 2 steps down, 1 step back. If you're trying to extract maximum value, which Wall Street are, let's say they want to push this down. Their plan is to go even further. The talks of the tapering, repo, this, that, blah, 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 interest rate changes, all become so extreme. Remember, it's the news that we already knew existed. Now suddenly it's a problem, which means nothing's changed. But Wall Street's making it sound like it's changed. So I don't want you guys, I'll go full screen here. I don't want anyone to be panicked. Could the market return? Yeah, I mean, the market could come down. But to think, let's say the news gets worse and worse and worse. We've got to ask ourselves the question, what's the worst case scenario here? That the Fed take away some of the support, which literally the banks have too much free capital. They taper it down and they potentially look to rate hike, and they won't do it, but they potentially look to rate hike next year. Let's say they do that. All right. Now, it would be incredibly surprising for them to rate hike any faster than this. I think we all agree with that. So you've got to put things in perspective. Has the situation really changed from last week? Everyone already knew this. Wall Street already knew. Wall Street was already starting to price it in. They kept it sideways, let retail get into it. If they continue to punish us down, if they push us 7 to 10%, should you really be scared about the long-term medium growth of your portfolio? Chat, what do you think? What do you think? Baron H says, crash is coming. I'm not sure about that. And I'm interested to see what the rhetoric's going to be. Is it going to be, there's this big, there's a huge problem. There's a huge problem. I don't think the situation's changed. I just believe this is a good opportunity to flush people out. And if everyone's trying to buy the dip, if they've all been conditioned to do so, if I was a nasty piccolo drinking Wall Street trader, I would totally take advantage of that. And what better time than now? Everyone was hyper. Everyone's buying the dip. People think 1% is a dip. It's a perfect time for them to hit that up. But I'm not scared. I don't think you guys should be scared. Let's have a look at silver futures here from Prad Deep C19, getting the super chat started today. Singapore, $5. Silver futures, please. Old silver. Not as strong as the others. I mean, you've got your mega support, which you know is around this 2180. Who knows why it's 2180? But that's 1, 2, 3. Oh, silver. It's been really difficult to trade, no doubt. I haven't touched it. I've touched gold. I have not touched this. Why would we can't? It's just too hard to touch. I like it a lot after 24 is closed above now. We've come down and tested once. We're testing again. Let's just say silver was able to get above 24. And you might say, oh, Tom, that's a full 60 cents away. Yeah, I think you've got to wait. You need the base formation here. You're trying to buy the tasty dip. And unless you have a long-term plan, if you want to be a momentum-based trader, someone that gets in and gets out within potentially a day, 2 days, 3 days in a trade, then you've got to wait for this closure. And then, of course, you're targeting 24.50. So you're basically just looking for this little tasty treat. That's the tasty treat that you're looking for in the markets. and you don't expect any more. A trader looks for the tasty treat. An investor looks for the whole lolly factory. You know, the investor wants Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and all you want is one of the Oompa Loompas tasty treats. All right, that's all you need, Pradeep. So yeah, I would like to see it above here. This is your current base. The final boss base is 2180. I don't see much action in between those. If we get through this level and close below, I'd be worried about it down to 2178. Also, watch dollar index. Of course, you want to go over to the dollar index. That's now really powering here. Look at that 8-hour long leg doji closure above. It really looks like the DXY is going for gold. Daily hasn't closed yet, but boy, oh boy, does it look like the dollar index is now going into a period of strength for the next couple of months. It really does. I mean, this is a huge pattern, guys. Look at this thing. We're 19th of August. If we close above the monthly 20, this is a serious pattern, and I never ignore monthlies. Why would you? So much money. Soshal Suma has done the research. Lots of buy the dip on WSB and stock twits. That's what I like to hear. Yes. Keep buying. Keep buying. That's the type of thing that we need to see happening. $7.77 said we got 1137. That's like elite. Well, it needs to be 1337. But we can get it there, $77. All we need is you guys to make sure you upvote the stream. If you enjoy the content we bring here, please do upvote the stream. Click the little tick button. It does help us out a lot. Ian Buell says, tasty treaty tendies. Yeah, I know you call them tendies, but I'm going to call them treats. Treats. So I'm not going to get political, but obviously, yes, the Taiwan situation could potentially also rear its head. That's probably, look, I've mentioned it before. The big threat over the next decade to markets is actually this word here, unfortunately. That is the true threat. And that's always underpinning now, I think, geopolitically for the next couple of years. I expect that to be really the big, and that is the issue. There are ways to protect portfolios partially from that, but not really. This whole tapering thing, whatever, whatever it comes down to is really just an opportunity more than anything else in quality that you like. So let's continue through these stock markets. So yesterday we had SPX. We saw SPX come down. Look at the monthly. Look how far away it is. Look at the weekly. The weekly has not touched the 20 since when is this? 1st of March 21. So that's actually a decent amount of time now. It's time for it to potentially think about that. I think that would be pretty sweet. Daily, obviously closed below the 20 exponential. We go to the 50. That's 43.46. Current futures, 43.64. So you'll notice, again, the futures hit these levels. Usually the real market likes it, though. So take a look. Every time we've hit the 50, see how the real market has tended to actually hit it. Remember, this is when the market's open, the SPX or the SPY. So the fake market futures have already touched it, but the real market hasn't touched it. So at least for day traders out there, your expectation would be that at some point, whether it's today or tomorrow, we should see the 50 exponential being touched by the real market and the real market volume. Does that make some sense? That's the way I'd look at this. I'd say, you know what? I'm not FOMO either way. I'm going to pay attention to this 50. I know it's the real deal. And if the market comes down and then I see a little 5-minute lightning bolt or some rally that I like, maybe that's an opportunity for you to go pick up stocks or pick up things for that day trade. You get what I'm saying? If you see it just get crunched straight through the 50, well, you might want to pay attention to that as well and say, okay, onwards to the next zone. That's the way I think about it. It's the same on the Dow right now. And IWM is also putting quite a lot of pressure on. We've got the 208. This will be probably the bigger trigger for me that things are getting serious. If the Russell 2000 gets underneath 208, previous support once, twice, 3 times, this is where things really start to tip over. Remember, it always starts with the small companies. So we have small companies start to dive. That's been occurring. We had the Dow Jones Industrial Transport Index, etc. The transport index going poorly. We had a whole bunch of different indices neutralizing. And then we've now seen materials drop off. We're starting to see weakness in the smaller market more than the other markets. And if this gets through this zone, I believe it's on. It's on, guys. Like a proper, nice, 7 to 8% correction, maybe even 8 to 10, something like that into the key levels. This is one of the charts that I will be watching very, very closely. All right, let's read some more comments here from the community. Let's see what you guys are saying. My hyper stocks, PK7 says, my hyper stonks are already down 20 to 30%. They don't call them hyper stonks for no reason, unfortunately, PK. Sand$77 coming in with a $4 super sticker as well. Appreciate it very much. That's good. Thank you. And we're caught up, I believe, here. We've got a few people. Oh, thank you very much. Best channel ever. Appreciate that. And then, very vicious. Permit Fisher. Very vicious. By the way, nice Trevally. Is it Trevally, bro? What is that? Nice Trevally, I believe. JPM to the dirt. Vicious on JPM. Hopefully they are not watching this. Big Dipper, $5. UVXY 2-hour/4 hour thoughts. This made me dollars yesterday. Well, firstly, congratulations, Big Dipper. Very glad that you've been making some coin there. That's very nice. Let's move over to VIX just before we do it. So the VIX is still at 10.39% coming into this market open. We know there's been some resistance here at 25 for the VIX. 25 being very hard to close up a bit against. And if we go over to the weekly as well, another thing I'll be looking at here on the Friday close, if you don't watch the videos on the weekend, etc., will be, can we actually sustain a weekly VIX close above, let's call it at least 20. Notice here all of the previous ones. That's when you know the real deal is happening, because look, the VIX spiked heavily over here and it was all the way back down by the end of the week. The VIX spiked back down. The VIX spiked back down. The VIX currently above 20. Great sign for bears. Big high VIX is good for bears. But very rarely does the VIX hold above the 20 on the weekly. Look, last time when it did it in February 18, then it did it, obviously the real deal happened. The big sell-off happened here later on in 18. Then we hadn't actually seen any weekly closes on the VIX. So these were all really more buy the dip scenarios, no doubt. And then suddenly, whoa, the big kahuna. So weekly close above, actually significant, because it means that it sustained multiple days of Wall Street punishing the market, and they were still fearful at the end of the week. That's when you know that they've come out to play. That's how I see it. I mean, look, nothing's guaranteed in this world. Obviously, this is all just theoreticals. This is educational content for you guys. But does it make sense that when you see those larger VIX spikes, they traditionally are coming, and especially sustained spikes that are sustained through a week and actually hold up, that there is something real behind that, and Wall Street is trying to punish it. So this is the ProShares Trust Ultra VIX short term. Well, what a perfect thing to go into, hey? All right, let's have a look here. You guys know I actually hate trading the VIX. Let's go down to the daily. I like trading the market, but the VIX is nasty stuff. And because, see on this chart, how you basically just degrades. Look at the degrading of your money over time. If you get into this, you better believe that it's going to be extremely quick and extremely fast. How do I feel about this? So you said on the 2-hour, 4-hour thoughts, this made dollars yesterday. Well, yes, the market fell off, so you were making money. I guess if you bought around this level here, like 24, I don't blame you. We saw almost like a lightning bolt on the VIX here, closure above, pullback, and then you saw that increased volatility. I would say if you believe that like the market, let's say the stock market is going through a key support and you believe there's a participation to another zone. So there's like a support here. The next level of support is here. It closes below and you think, oh yeah, that thing's going down to the next level because it's a higher likelihood at that point. You can quickly get into the VIX and trade that volatility, that fear. But yeah, I mean, what the hell is a permit? I'll ask this in a second. I need to look that fish up. I've never heard of it in my life. But Big Dipper, yeah, I would always look at this from the perspective of if you see this closure out and you expect the volatility to start spiking, because of course, downward market creates fear, especially when it was coming off no fear for a while. This could be a good play, but it must be day trade specific. You need to be in, you need to be out quickly. You need to really have a plan and know what you're doing. Because if you get stuck in this ain't something you can hold. It will just degrade your account and you will get demolished. So thanks for bringing it to our attention. Congratulations again. But it is a thing. Oh, it looks like some kind of like piranha of the sea. I've seen it now, the permit fisher. The piranha of the sea. Like a dollar, silver dollar kind of thing. Very, very cool. Thank you for the donation there. Also, Burak Koskin, thank you very much for becoming a member. Appreciate it very much. Welcome to the community. Very great. Ian Buell says, yes, day traded. I tried to hold it. Equals bad. Hell yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Holding that sucks. Then we've got Pradeep C19, Singapore, $5. Thank you very much. RK versus Burry, your thoughts? All day long, I'm going RK, man. I'm optimistic still. Like, yeah, okay, look, the channel, I've been talking about bearishness. There's a reason why. Seasonals, we know September crap. We know August crap. I'll bring up the stats. There it is. It's crap. I mean, if you're going to pick bad months of the year, if you're going to pick any 2 months of the year that you don't want to be in the market, it's February for the Nasdaq, September for the stock market in general after earnings. Okay, that's just traditionally the best two. If you were going to go with seasonality, that's a play. But look, hey, Burry might be correct. Possibly he is correct here and the market does tank and he makes some cash. Remember, his inflation trade ain't working out for him either, though. So he's picked one good one. He's picked bad ones. He's picked whatever. He might be correct. But long term, I believe Kathy will be correct. I feel like she actually kind of understands. And I think she really is picking really great companies. The only problem is going to be whether she's too early on some, if you know what I'm saying. Is she too early on some? But her methodology, very tough to go against it. Bloodbath McGrath says, Kathy says it's value season. So by that, do you mean value is in its time to buy everything? Is that what you're saying? And then Kunal says, Burry is a market timer. Yes, traditionally he is trying to make the time, like he's trying to make it right at that point. So the market's here, 0.67 down US 100, 0.74 US 500. Again, anyone that's joining us, we have 1,380 people. I don't think it's a time to necessarily panic, guys. We expect this 50 moving average to be hit. We got tapped before it bounced up. I expect it to be tapped again. Go back, rewind, get back down there and have a look because it was some good analysis. My expectation always was this was the ultimate end game if Wall Street gets it through this next couple of levels. So 14,500 underneath. I just go over this because it's really important stuff. So we've got here 50 exponential, then 14.5 as a key level of support. I can tell you there's puts there. I know there's a put wall there. Nasty Wall Street puts all over it. Usually that holds it back from being able to get through. I would expect some bouncing here to occur, maybe like something like that as well. But yeah, 14.5, current 50. We knew that when it got underneath, it was going here, very, very likely to occur. And then the kind of biggest thing for me is 14,000. If that occurred, it's a very substantial discount. It's around 8-ish% on the market. That's what you expect. Further than that, very hard to predict at this stage. I don't believe any of these reasons they're bringing to the table right now, they're all in plain sight. Oh, taper, guys. Taper. We're tapering. Come on, please. We all knew this, guys. It's not new. This is just an excuse. Everyone's conditioned to buy the dip every single day of the week. That's what they're doing. They're hunting them. Denial phase Bitcoin. Nice name. Woods is lost. Woods has some really good points. I can't be hating. But yeah, I think she'll be correct. SW probably says it right. Wood will be correct. You might bleed out a lot between now and then. That's very, very possible, yes. But I think overall, if you were fighting them and you went for a 5 to 10 year timeline, obviously I don't think Burry can be correct on that one. It's two different types of traders fighting each other. It's obviously to get you guys talking about them so they get a higher profile. So next time when they say, hey guys, sell the market right now, sell it right now, and they've already got their giant puts in, you might do it. And if you do it, they make money. Remember, it's smoke and mirrors. What they say and what they do, a little bit different. What they say, what they do. Burak, Koskin, try $50. Thank you very much. Buy the dip today or wait more. Also, when to enter UPST. Why is everyone loving this UPST so much? Isn't there better stocks out there than UPST? 50 exponential moving average will be a key zone to look at. If you're looking for entries, man, you're always looking for lightning bolts. You're looking for double bottom style patterns around this on the small time frames. You're probably going to need to be on a 5-minute or 15-minute today if you're looking for very quick kind of price action. I'll just show you here. We'll go to the 15-minute chart. So yesterday I highlighted a zone, and that zone was on the futures here. You can see the interaction with it. See how the 15-minute never closed above? See the 15-minute? Never closed above. Got up there a few times, but never closed above. We go to the 5-minute. See how the 5-minute closed above? 5-minute, not as reliable. You got to be ninja sharp with the 5-minute to get in and out. But the 15-minute is a little bit better. Obviously, 1 hour is my preferred if I'm going to look at day trade positions. And then you even had this really nasty one where you close underneath, trigger sells. No doubt this is a trigger for selling. But your stop loss has to be above here or here, okay? So if you had the aggressive stop loss, you got brutalized. If you had the better stop loss, then you didn't get hit up. But obviously, risk reward becomes an important thing. So this level was the key zone right here. You can see the next key zone of closure. I can totally see why people would have sold this right here on this candle. Bam, sell in. News came out, pushed it up initially, and then by the end of the day, boom, there comes Wall Street smashing it down. So it's all about these time frames. If you're looking at it right now, you've got a trough on the fake market futures. You've currently got a peak at 14.8. You've got a higher trough currently forming. And what are you looking for? You're looking for it to get through 14.8. That should begin rally, 14.875, et cetera, et cetera. That's the kind of zones that you're considering from a technical level. I'll check out UPST. Let's have a look at UPST, Upstart Holdings. Obviously, you guys got to make your own decisions. I can't tell you what to do. This is not financial advice. Thank you, 1,400 people coming in. Appreciate you guys. Click that like button if you can. It does really help me out to come up here, because in a few months, I'll be coming on at 1 a.m. my time here in Australia to do these streams for you guys. So it's brutal at that point. We are 26 minutes away from the market open. Not too much time to go here. Everyone seems to love this stock. Someone messaged me today. Was there some kind of share offer on this or something? Go and have a look at that, Burak. I don't know what the share offer is. I don't really understand this stock or know any fundamentals about it. But if there's a share offer on a stock, that tends to pull it down. If it's a share buyback, a little bit different. If it's a share offer, it tends to pull it down to that price. And if it gets underneath a share offer, that is, during the share offer itself, very negative. Very negative. Amgar Pradeep, $1.99, looking at UPST to figure out when it'll fall. Well, again, as I said, I don't know why everyone loves this so much. I guess because it rallied recently. This is not the time I'd be looking at it. If you're looking at where it rallies back to, I mean, you would have to think between that 170, 160 kind of range would be where you'd hope it gets back to. But again, some fundamental thing happened here. I would check that out. When you're trading a stock like this that's hyper, you've got to look at the fundamentals as well. You've got to understand it. If you go into the smaller time frames, let's check the hour out. Actually, maybe in the 15-minute. Currently, it looks a little bit like it's rolling over. You've got 50 exponential moving average being a solid buy zone through this rally, though it barely came down to it, only near the end. If it closes underneath that, closes, because remember, it gapped and bought up here, that also could trigger further selling. So I don't really like that chart at all. Yeah, if you're in it, cool. You follow the trend. Maybe today is the last day of that trend. But yeah, Nick Schmidt probably says it better. UPST equals the pumpy dumpy. Yes. By the way, those t-shirts are available in the FX Evolution store, wherever they are. Well, I think they are. I believe. Urban Elemental says, UPST, you missed it. Next. Yeah, I don't really think that's very good at all. Bradley back $5. Possible rotation into TLT today. Yeah, TLT should be strong. Nothing really changes from our current analysis on TLT. We're looking for it to get back above this trend line to start more rallies. So you can see here, weak rejection, weak rejection. We need it to be strong. So above 150 on the close would be ideal. 150 plus. It's 150.37 currently. This makes sense. If you've got fear in the market, where does the money go? It goes into safe havens. Those safe havens tend to be bonds. This is 20-year bonds. You've also got, of course, dollar index, which is currently strengthening, etc. So yeah, just looking for a closure above here. That should then hopefully get through this and resume back to the 152 plus. I would expect it to be strong as long as the market weakens. That's the thing, Bradley. The market must weaken. Carl Kenner says, thank you, Tom. Have you thought about doing the close is the key instead of open at 6 a.m.? Yeah, we could do that. The close is the key. It is true. I don't know what the numbers would be like, but maybe that's a solution in the future. What do you guys think? What's the community think? Would it be better to do the close when we go into daylight savings time? Because open is brutal here in Australia. Close is the best too. Where's the shirt? I don't know. I'll post it on there late tomorrow. We'll post it on tomorrow. It's all good. Don't worry, guys. The shirt will be there tomorrow. The pumpy dumpy shirt. I've got to order some as well. So US 100 currently recovering. We looked at the smaller time frames. We saw the little trough action, the peak action on the fake market futures. Went down to the 15-minute. We know the key levels, 14.8. We know the key level, 14.721. We're in the middle of nowhere land right here. 21 minutes to go. Let's begin by having a quick look through what actually is moving here in the market pre-open. Get it up. We'll use the Webull scanner here, but I will be removing this next week, I feel. We can't even trade with Webull here in Australia, but I don't really even like this scanner that much. All right, let's move over here. Go up to, we'll need about 22 billion plus. And we'll just pull all the EPS, doesn't matter. And that should bring us just under 500. There we go. Okay. So we'll grab all these companies and 23.5. All right, let's see what's moving here in the pre-market, guys. And then we'll do rapid fire analysis after that. We've got SNPS, 4.65%. We've got NVIDIA, result must have been decent, 1.56. By the way, hey. Look, guys, I have a 3080. Look at that. I supported the stock yesterday. So for anyone that says I'm a hater of NVIDIA, I finally got that thing. All right, let's move over here. It's the crap one too. 6.79% on KC Southern down. We've got, what else? DoorDash down 4.44. Feel like it was at 183 just last week, so not down that much. Moderna down 387. I still think Moderna has a bit of floor on it, around 370, 360 currently with the puts there. SE 311, that's down hard. SE probably deserves to get belted. It's very expensive. So that's not a stock. Even though I love the stock, I think it's one of the best stocks in the exchange, just as a pure rapid growth mad cat thing. It is expensive. So I would be looking for that to get lower. Airbnb also down 2.31, Etsy, etc. So let's scroll through and do some rapid fire analysis. Hopefully you guys are good. Bull Rocket says Moderna, dump, let's go. Oh, very brutal on Moderna there. Do the open and the close? Yeah, if I don't want to have a life. I love the US market, but it is very tough to trade. We've got another super chat donation coming in here from Walter Clinch. Thank you very much, Walter. $5 says, greed very low, 25. Hard to believe a large sell-off will happen. That is also true. How are all these sentiment indicators? Almost every one of them is actually saying that greed's incredibly low. They're already, in fact, so many of these fear indicators have been blowing out backwards. Like, I mean, if we click this one here, fear and greed, you'll notice the fear has been 20. Look, the fear went to 1. I mean, this is ridiculous how fearful people are. I don't even understand how fearful people are. I mean, I'm not fearful, but I also don't understand how everyone's still got buy the dip. It's the most, these indicators are the most weird indicators at this stage. This is obviously a social one, but if you check any of the traditional ones, they are also showing that we should have already been selling off now for a while, considering the amount of fear in the market. But then even the amount of puts that have been opened, and that's what I'm looking at. That's the hard evidence. If you go and look at Apple, the amount of calls on Apple are out of control. I mean, look at the strikes. Look at what the hell is this? Look at the Apple strikes. This is Apple. Look at the wall of all of the calls that are sitting here at this 150, 155 bracket. 150, 155, 162 and a half. There's a call city here. And we've seen some massive pumps. AMD pumped through with calls. We've got Moderna pumping through with calls. We've got some unrealistic moves. And that's the issue. It's very convoluted. We only follow the price action here. That's all we can do. So, yes, will a large sell-off happen? Time will tell. We've got to get through the key supports. At the stage, we're on a support, the 50 moving average on the daily. That is a support. It has been a support consistently. And you can go and have a look at the SPX if you don't believe me. Have a look at the 50. It's been a support. Buying dips has been incredibly successful at this point. And we got there during the fake market futures, and we're probably going to get there during the real market. So this level has been incredibly good. I'm just reiterating these things because we've got a lot of new viewers in here today, and I do appreciate all you guys. And I want people to learn that TA, look, I love fundamentals. I love TA. I love TA even more than fundamentals just because I would say I'm pretty good at it. But it's just about things like bringing the stuff together, understanding things better, and more importantly, empowering yourself to be able to make better decisions. Whether you're an investor and you want to make 2 trades a year, 2 investments a year, even being able to see a dip buying opportunity and being able to go, oh, yeah, that actually is a good dip because I understand the TA. It's a powerful lifelong skill. So is being able to day trade. So is being able to scalp. And that's what we really try to do as a community here. So thanks very much for the likes, guys. And I do appreciate you guys. It is really amazing stuff. Ian Beale says, I don't understand near term, far out of the money calls or puts. Just send me the money instead of giving it to Wall Street. Near term calls and puts are always usually retailers going nuts. But when it's further out, there are reasons why people do that, Ian. There are certainly reasons into like, really managing portfolios and stuff. So it looks like these futures are buying up pretty hard pre-market. US 100 was down a lot more before. So maybe even it opens up fairly rally-ish and everyone starts buying initially. Maybe people are buying in the pre-market on the Weebles, on the Robinhoods already buying this stuff. So I think the close is the key. Again, close is where Wall Street does their bigger trades. And if we're having a look at yesterday's close, it was a brutalization. And when you can always tell it's more real is when you rally in the morning and then start to slowly stagnate, and then the sell-off comes into the close. If that occurs, Wall Street are behind it. And that means that it's a real sell-off. Traditionally, real sell-offs have closures. They're just smashings into the end of the day. That's the key point. Because what it do is they suck all your money in, they make you buy the dip, and then they belt you at the end to take your cash. And that usually means a really, really bad time. So before we do the rapid fire, we'll just move over here to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin for the Bitcoin crypto traders. We've got a movement. We've seen a rejection. We've seen, of course, a little bit of weakness here today. It's bounced up. It kind of looks like a long leg doji at this point. Imagine if it closed like that. That'd be beautiful. Then we'll really know direction. However, if we go down to the 2 hour, what I'm looking for here on something like Bitcoin, when it really initiates again, it'll be doing something like breaking through this now. Okay, so we've got this downward sloping trend. So today in the video, I talked about this potentially being a little double bottom, 4.6 being the key level. Now that we've made a new low, let's say we rallied here and we sold off again. What a beautiful zone for repair that would be. And you've also got a bottom end one as well. So draw that up. I think it's pretty key here for the crypto universe. I'm really loving that right now. And yeah, check it out. 8-hour time frame, 2-hour time frame, pretty good time frames to look at the crypto markets. One last super chat. We've got Yas B, Canadian, $2. Can you please check MGNI, mate? Okay, we'll do that. MGNI. Magnite. Oh, that's unfortunately we've got to get the knives in the chat for you there, sir. You got to get the knives out, guys, because that's a falling knife. Can't really capture it if you because it is a falling knife. You would prefer it to find support today. It's going to open at 24, 24, 20. Yeah, basically 24 flat is the support here on this stock. So if you're looking for where has been the bounce traditionally here, I'd be looking for price action though. You need lightning bolts, you need double bottoms, you need real structural formation. Even over here, there's probably a little lightning bolt on the smaller time frames that happened. And over here, there was some good price action. So it's at the support. However, it's a falling knife. Be careful there. If you really like the stock, this is one of those areas where some investors would buy in, but doesn't look great. I got to say, doesn't look great. We'll do this 1 second. Okay, let's move over here to the rapid fire. We're going to go through some quick stocks here. I'll give you levels from my perspective, and this will be over in about 5 minutes. It'll just be me talking a lot of stuff. So I'll just quickly bring JN's up here. It says, Singapore $5. Hi, Tom. Need education advice on how to see the price action for options contracts, i.e. take profit zones and stop losses. Yeah, look, JN, we will be doing group mentoring soon. I'll be literally going through that. Options are my speciality from covers and stuff. That's what I do as a business. So yeah, we will be doing it. I'll announce it here on the channel and other places if you're interested. So we also are doing a full options course coming up. But yep, thank you very much for the donation. And don't worry, it is all coming. Okay, let's get into the rapid fire here. Square. Let's move through this one. So Square, we've been talking about the weakness here. Got the long leg doji on it the day before yesterday, looking for if it closes underneath 257 for that to trigger quite a lot of selling. I feel like at that point, there's a day trade potential even here down to the 250. You can see long leg doji, rejection. This key level here, closure underneath, very significant because that then allows all of the buying levels that were here with the stop losses to get smashed out. Still weak on Square. It all began on the weekly rejection. Look at this, nasty weekly rejections. Always pay attention to the weekly, worthwhile. Apple, currently back in the range, 150, 151, or 149. Tons of calls option is expiring on Friday. I would expect it not to be able to get back up above there, just from an options expiring standpoint. Daily 20 didn't really get dipped underneath. It's now opening 0.76 down. Looking for it to sell into around 140, 151. If it gets underneath there, again, you'll be seeing the Nasdaq getting smashed through the 50 exponential on the daily. It'll all be on. So yeah, bottom low here is about 140, 170. You can see the trap level. Amazon, continued weakness here. We've been calling this for quite some time. This was not a good buy the dip scenario. It's continuing to come through. I'd actually expect Amazon to further weaken. I'm hoping for that to get to 3,100 or a 3,000 and then form base support. Still short at this stage from the TA anyway. Google, meh. Really strong stock. Couldn't even get underneath here. Possible sell-off occurring on Google if it gets underneath daily 20. Daily 20 has been phenomenal buying. Look at Google 20. Google can't get under daily 20, guys. So if it does, to the daily 50 we go. Snow, really strong yesterday. Long leg doji. Look for a close either side. Close below here. Weakness. That's probably a good one for tomorrow. Close below. Strength. Fair. I would close above. Strength. That's the type of thing you're looking for in snow. End phase. At support. It's currently underneath. Too early. I wouldn't touch that thing right now. We saw it close underneath this zone. That showed weakness. We need structure formation. Next stop could be 150 here on end phase. Microsoft, whatever. RK on support. Underneath this could be pretty brutal. Again, the rest of the market will be going with it. ARCG, don't bother with it at this stage. Beam, still really strong from a TA perspective, but incredibly volatile. This is a CRISPR style stock. Things go crazy. You've got a 110 resistance here. It's on support. Probably not the stock you want to target at this stage in the market, but it is quite strong from a TA. You can see all these wicks, lots and lots of wick buying, and the volume's been pretty big as well. So that's Kathy Wood mostly purchasing that, I believe. Edit, I wouldn't touch at this stage. CRISPR, whatever. SPLK, it's boring. Disney in the range, nothing much going on. Maybe 171. There could be some dip buying for people there because of the key level being hit so many times. QCOM, that was a bad closure for it, no doubt. On moving averages, it has to hold today. Really has to hold. If you're looking for the last level of support, this is why. It's this trend line here for QCOM. TDOC on support. I don't expect this to get underneath this level that it belted down to 132. However, you never know with TDOC. Barber, terrible, still dipping. What do you do? I wouldn't touch any of these Chinese stocks yet. We don't know where the real base is yet for them, and there should be a good accumulation. Snap, not really interested in it. Twilio, I could see weakness here again. These stocks all look bad, yeah. Like that doesn't look good. Where Twilio gets better is above here, which is around 347 from a TA perspective. But underneath here, all of a sudden we open the floodgates of selling down to 320 or possibly even like a 306. So that's not good. NVIDIA announcements out, probably have resistance around 198 if it does rally. Check that out. Pins, terrible. This will not be good if it gets underneath here today. Pins weakness continues, is why you don't catch the falling knife every time, guys. I don't know where that's going to stop. We're looking for accumulation bases in the future. We'll move over to AMD. AMD's back underneath. Oh, no strong levels there at this stage. Maybe just where it was, which was the daily 20. I don't really like it that much. Yeah, I'm not sure about the AMDs. Roku. Again, doesn't look good on the charts. Next stock could be 321 here for Roku. Etsy looked good. Didn't close above. You're looking for a close above 196 for the strength. Otherwise, back down, we go to 177. Probably something like that. Spot, weakness still ensued. No catching the knife there. Unity, looking for it to return back down to 113 from a TA perspective. NVAX, hovering around the zone. Nothing much. Roblox, great returns here off the bad news announcement that turned good. However, not really the biggest kind of dip purchase here at this stage. And then we move over to PayPal, looking weak. Look at that. Peak, trough, lower peak. Pretty much a signal for lower trough yesterday. Another stock showing overall weakness here in the big techs. PayPal could be coming downtown, but there could be some great buying opportunities in the future for a lot of these stocks. What do you guys think? Are you keen to buy the dip today? What are you doing? 5 minutes away. What are you doing? Let me know. Monica Nakamura says, rapid fire is excellent. So much info. Yeah, we go through quite a lot. Michael H says, AMD buy at 92. And Permit Fisher says, Trevali's a kick-ass fish too. Absolutely. It's all about the GT lifestyle, Permit Fisher. You got to catch the GTs. Bull says, watching only. Kyle Wells says, being patient. Anthony is waiting. Lieutenant Dan says, playing oversold bounces. I think that's fair. I think there could be some oversold potential bounces here. Probably need to be down the 15-minute. I think today is a day trade scalp kind of situation. And then Sat says, Tesla, Tom, you've forgotten Tesla. All right, let's move over to Tesla. Tesla's tough because there were so many calls on it yesterday. It was insane. Wowzers. It was really, really crazy. So 700, there were heaps of puts. As I said at the start of this entire video, where have I got it? Tesla's flow map here. Look at the expiration on the 20th. That is insane amounts of options being opened. I mean, it makes me think they want to get it under 670 for X. I mean, imagine how much profit they'd make. 14.66, 13.71, 11.02, and 11.49. Wow, that's a huge amount of options expiring on the 20th. So for Tesla, I don't know. I guess it just under 670 by Friday. I'd like to see that expire and then it and then get back up. I know it rallied heavily yesterday, and congrats to people that were in it, but it's not through the 697 where it closed below. I need it above that zone to really start triggering further buying. If it does, sure, okay. Next stop 727, 727 plus. Next stop literally 770. But there's so many options, guys. That's no joke. That is no joke. We're 3 minutes off to the market open. We'll start dialing in now on the different indices. We have had a rally here in the futures markets. We're looking at a 14.8 closure above to really start a nice bull sequence if the market doesn't want to go back down. Looking at the 50 exponential being touched in the real market on the SP 500. You'll notice here S&P 500, another one that's just recently rallied in the fake market futures. And we'll watch Tesla into the open. We've got Tesla down here at a 677. Mr. Computer Guy, $5. DXY strength means down pressure on SPY. Traditionally, it did. So back years ago when you were like global financial crisis, yeah, it really did. But DXY, usually it means like risk off if it's going strong. What else gets influenced as the dollar goes up? Well, of course, you've got an influence on gold. You've got an influence on every currency out there. So euro, US dollar, pound, US dollar, etc. They're very heavily influenced by the dollar index going up. It's not as big as it used to be. I think that's due to the way money flows and the speed at which money flows nowadays. You used to see incredible switches, but it's. I don't feel like the dollar index is as good as it used to be at figuring out those types of things. I'll let you guys pick the other stock you want to watch. So just spam it now in the chat. Whatever I see the most of, I'll chuck that in the top left-hand corner up here on the 5-minute chart. So far we've got Tesla, so don't vote for that. We've got US 500 coming in here. We're on a 5-minute chart. And we've also got the US 100 in the fake market futures. We've got that right here, all ready to go for your viewing pleasure coming into the open. What do you want, guys? We haven't done mRNA yet, so we'll check that out maybe. Scott Morgan says wheat. No chance, Scott Morgan. Julia Dan says Square. Sam Hines says QQQ. Well, got that one effectively. NVIDIA, Wish, Coinbase. Sandal77. SPY is popping up and down like a hammer. It's a volatile day. We've got VIX above 23. It's going to be some wild 5-minute, 15-minute wicks. Big switches. If I was to have a guess, I would think that the SPX would like to come and touch the 50 exponential moving average on the daily in the real market, but you never know. So it looks like you guys are voting right now and we're open. So we missed it, but I'll put on what it probably was. It was probably going to be Apple. So we've got Apple coming in here. Ding, 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 ding. By the way, I'll have the bell ready for tomorrow. 144.80 on Apple. That's down 1.06. We've got quick rally here on the Nasdaq. Quick rally on the US 500 as well. Starting to come through. We're about to hit that 14.8 level. All important closure on the 15-minute will need to be watched here on the US 100. So we've hit that. That is where I expect some little bit of sell pressure. Let's see if it does come through. 15-minute will be the key here. Where it closes, I think, is something that's semi-significant. Tesla rally 682. So retail's coming in hard across the board. We'll load up this scanner. Let's just quickly bring this in so you guys can see it. We'll press the percentage change. Let's see what's up, what's down. So we've got DoorDash down 4.54%, Barber down 3.77%. It doesn't get easier buying those stocks. Moderna down 2.27%, I think it was. Deere earnings on Friday for that one. Zoom down 1.92%. So here we go. So US 100, at least initially, it looks like it's out. Remember, it's not really about the... For traders and for scalpers, the way they might do it is they might scale in on this and then they'll scale further if they see a closure. So it's all about the close on these. This is the hour of power. It's the hour of retail action. It's not enough on the retail action to push it through. We're now only down 0.16% on the US 100. So it's rallying super fast. The scalpers are coming in. They're pushing up. And see if it rallies all the way to 14,876 early here. Lightning bolt. Sid's probably in. Scott Morgan, you're not wrong with trend lines. You could be very careful with trend lines, sir. Trend line, it's like when you come into a chart and it's like someone's got it and they've got their TA and it's like this. And you're like, what the hell is this? That doesn't make any sense. I always suggest for most people, horizontal support resistance. That's the one I would use. Trend lines, meh, not good enough. ADA, Cardano positive so far. You get 2.06, not that great for ADA. But I guess it might be trading positive at this stage. And then Solid Snake says, Hood. What's going on with Hood? That stock is a trap. The gap down to 45. Yeah. Make sure you trade in Hood, guys, because that is an IPO. A tech IPO in the US, never a good thing for the first 12 months. Tesla now fading early. 15-minute time frame will be the key again on, I believe, these markets here. Can it rally? Can it hold? Will it fall back? You want to be very careful at making sure that it continuously holds above these zones. So 43.76 for the S&P and for the US 14.8 if you're on the buy side. For the bears, they need it under that zone again. Nvidia is fading as well. Chris Smith says, is after and before market also retail? That is what usually breaks through support resistance and skews stock market sentiment to the rest of the day. I tend to find, well, no, after markets is generally covers and stuff. So it'll be a lot of like big funds covering up. It'll be margin calls covering those kinds of things. All sorts of covers at the close. The close is traditionally the key. You know, I don't say the close is the key for any reason other than it is. If you look at any chart, like I'm sure we've all been there as traders and investors. You come in, you might say, like, let's say it's like a 1 hour candle. And the 1 hour candle, you come in, it looks like this. And you think, and it's like 1.5 minutes before the close, and you're like, damn, that thing looked bullish. I'm going to buy that beast right up. That's a pin bar hammer. I love that trade. And then a few minutes later, it's this to the negative side. You know, it's a full-on candle to the negative side, and you're thinking, I shouldn't have pulled the trigger early. It's all about making sure that you always wait for the closure. The closure is the key for most people. If you're going to take these types of trades in the morning, generally you will scale into them. So you can see here the 5-minute has both charts, there's closed above. So for a lot of traders, what they do, what Wall Street will do is they'll trade into it. So they'll basically say, okay, let's say we like that closure above here or that movement above here this morning. If they want to be part of the movement, they'll wait for it to tick above. They'll trigger orders, and then they'll wait for the closures and the pullbacks and then trigger more orders so that they eventually get fully filled with their position. So early here, no doubt, this is looking like a rally at this point. You can see both these charts showing rallies by the dip philosophy coming through on a lot of stocks. Not all the tech stocks, though, but a lot of them. Amazon now up 0.49. Nvidia belly up here. SPLK. Spot. Lots of red in the tech, but probably lots of bullishness in quite a few stocks. I mean, if we go over to Webull, we'll be able to see it now. A lot of little greens here. It's the hour of retail power. Lewis Yang says, never trade the first hour. I think trading the first hour is fine, but I think you've got to trade it to always base all of your bigger, investment decisions off the hour of power, or the hour of the retail trader is probably not the best. I'm interested to see how this 15-minute closes. Let's see. Is Amazon still a buy? Long term, it's a buy, but I don't really like the price action yet. I like to wait for the structure, wait for the formation. It's basically like kind of catching a falling knife right now. You could be right, and you might be laughing at me tomorrow, Michael, or you could be really wrong and it keeps falling down. Look at Barber. Look how many people have probably got Barber wrong several times. I thought there was one good Barber trade. It stopped me out. It's done, and I haven't touched it since. And guess what? It just continuously wrecks buyers. All the people buying the dip on the Barber getting smashed. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Rommel Watkins says it's a tricky time. Yeah, it's a tricky time. I mean, look what they're doing right now. Look at this. They're smashing it back down to this level. It's sneaky business. Smashing it back down here. Still no close, obviously 15-minute. We could come back in literally 6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and it might be all the way down here. Might be like this. It's a very different signal than what you get earlier. That's why most people in these periods, like, you've got to know the closure is the key. And I guess it's already showing you that. This is tired for some people. We'll stick around for the first 15. Thank you very much for the 1,413 people joining us as well. I can see we're over quite a lot of likes. Thank you very much, guys, for 585 likes. Appreciate it. Thank you for the super chats. And also, if you're interested in getting some free cheat sheets, you can do so by clicking the link up above, and we'll send them to your email. It's pretty cool. If you like some TA cheat sheets. We'll answer some questions now of the community. Why not? Any impact on high case of deaths in the US? Look, COVID obviously is always there. I think the market is learning to deal with that thing, but who knows? I mean, it's a massive, problem. It's obviously a huge problem here in Australia from an economy standpoint. We're shut down. We can't go anywhere. But look, we won't get into that discussion. Rommel Watkins, Tom, please remind us to get the likes up. That's right, Rommel. We need to get those likes up. It does seem to help out quite a lot, actually. Super duper hayseed farm boy says all the other pre-market preps are just freaking out rather than prepping. I don't look. Why the hell should you be freaking out? There is no reason to freak out. There is a stupid thing called tapering, which already has existed for multiple months. The market's had time to react to that. If that's the excuse, sure. You could say the excuse is Afghanistan. You could say the excuse, look, they'll write lots of things in the paper. I mean, I could go over here to FinViz right now, and I can click on news, and I can refresh the news, and it will be like stocks fall, extending declines after Fed meeting minutes. U.S. stocks retreat, oil and copper drop. Afghanistan withdrawal could be the biggest blah, blah, blah. And then that could cause, the market to tank. And we're talking purely financial here, guys. I'm not talking about anything else. Purely financial. We're waiting here for the 15-minute to close, by the way. It's always the thing in plain sight. It's like the wolf in plain sight that will be the trigger. Remember last year, all you need to remember every time, think about this. We knew about the pandemic last year, January 15th, give or take a few days, yeah? We didn't crash until much, much later than that, okay? It was in plain sight. Everyone could see it, yet it wasn't a problem, and then it suddenly was a problem. Think of that every time you ever think of all corrections or dips or whatever, and then understand, has the situation changed? Now, last year, the situation had changed, but it's not like we didn't know about the trigger, if that makes some sense. S. Burgos says financial news is all over the place. That's why you've got to be able to cut the crap. And you've got to be able to make your own decisions. However you make those is up to you, but it is important. Trey's Subway Cup, $1.99. Can you do analysis on AQST? Analysts love it. Do they now? All right, we've got 4 minutes till we see this closure happen. By the way, we'll do the AQST. Thank you very much for the donation there. Therapeutics company. Analysts love it. Well, it's been down for a while. So I assume when you say analysts love it, they've got a higher target on it. Important to see when they updated their targets. Let me have a look here. I'll quickly go down to request some data here on this one in the the community here. So analysts, what is it? AQST. All right. So we had here very little updates on this for quite some time. The analyst updates seem to be relatively outdated. Analyst grades BMO Capital outperform Wedbush. This was done 2020. We've got 2020, 2020, 2020. You got to be careful about some of these stocks. This is a $142 million stock. I'll just show you here because I've requested it in the robot in the community. And you'll notice that all of these dates seem to be quite out. Now, if all those dates are really old, then you can't really take their analyst data very seriously, can you? That's something that I would always consider. Analysts are one thing, but you want to only use their overall idea, and you don't want to put too much stock in it. Use your price action more strongly. If I was looking at this chart, I would just go straight on, double bottom. I want to see recovery. I want 450 to be closed above. If it is, boom, let's get into that participation. Things look really great. At this stage, it's recovered a little bit. Volume is not doing exceptional. Let's go to the daily volume here. Daily volume, meh. Earnings was okay. $4 target would be the first step. So you're basically going, okay, we need a closure above 4. That will really start our trigger event here with the lightning bolt. We go to 450 resistance. If we close above 450, then we can really start triggering into much higher rates, 550. So I like the accumulation base. I like that style. That would be the way I'd approach it from a TA perspective. Let's get down to this one now. Here we go. 2 more minutes. Only 2 more minutes till we'll get it open. Vic says, why the hell is the SPY bouncing? Why can't it bounce? It's a retail hour, man. You got to steal all the money. Vic, we got to look. I've been drinking some piccolos with my bros on Wall Street this morning. Woke up early and I thought, what's the best thing to do? I said, you know what? Let every retailer buy the dip in the morning and we'll get them at the end of the day, boys. That's what we'll do. We'll have a sleep. We'll have a siesta. And then we'll go play some pool. And then we'll come back and we'll get them at the end of the day. One minute till we get close here. Well, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. Tesla now 677. Lots of options all over. 670, 680, 690, and 700. All calls, predominantly calls here for the Friday. Just remember that. Keep that in the back of your mind. So here we go. We're in the last 1 minute here for the Nasdaq. We've got 10 seconds to go. And it's going to be non-definitive close, it looks like. Probably around that 50. Let's see. Oh, it's tried. The last couple of seconds, it got right to the wick. There's bastards. So sneaky. Oh, look, and then the little sellers come in. So, yeah, that's the problem. You've got to wait for closures. Now, this one is so tight, guys. See, it's a wick. It's above the bodies, but it's below the... it's so close. It's almost like a trigger. Look at it. That's so marginal that you can't use it. That's the problem. They're going to walk away. But sometimes it won't be marginal. And when it's not marginal, you can use it. That sucked. Look at that. The worst. I hate marginal closes. Like when that daily comes down and you've got that support, and then the daily comes down to the support and it closes like a smidgen underneath. But you know, from a TA perspective, you wouldn't put much risk on that trade. You need that little bit extra. You know, you need what happened on oil. So is it look bearish there? Yeah. Does it look bullish here? Sure. But it's just not quite enough. And it always happens. And it always happens. Let's move over here to US oil just quickly. I want to show you it from a daily perspective. See that little daily close underneath? Much more significant closure. That's what you usually want. So they sold it initially. They've decided it's enough. Now you're looking for a close above 14,840, and then that will go to 1480. They're so close. That sucks. Shizzy Wiznut says 700 likes, pump music on the way out, Tom. Absolutely, guys. Look, best of luck out there. Close is what I'll be looking at today, guys. As you can see, the market is really rallying here early. I would look to see what Wall Street does into the close. As many have stated, fear is at all-time highs. Calls have been expired that were there. Things like Apple. You know, I expect Apple not to be able to get above 149 by Friday, that's for sure. And then we're, really looking at a market that is divided by multiple different reasons. So look to the close where Wall Street will have its fun. If they do this again, I think it's way more serious. If they don't, hey, this is just more of the same. We're still technically in an uptrend. And if everyone's freaking out, I'm not freaking out over the long term here. Absolutely. I'll put it into the pump music now for you. Thank you very much for everyone that's been here. Remember to subscribe. Remember to, of course, hit that bell icon or whatever it is that helps us out. And if you want the free TA sheets, you can click the little link in the chat. I'll hand it over now to the pump music, and I'll see you tomorrow for a video and another live stream. Catch you for now.